Pregame Report. Good people, it is the Super Bowl edition of the NFL Pregame Report. Your boy Cool McCain. I'm joined as always by my man TJ on the side, and our more often than not special guest, Mr. Ced Green, aka the Skip Bayless of the show. What's going on, Ced?
Yo, what's good, man? Congrats to your Eagles. Look forward to seeing this game today.
Appreciate that. And TJ, what's going on?
Hopefully a Kansas City beatdown later.
You know I won't argue with that. I will not argue with that. But yeah, guys, you know, we're here. We kind of know what's happening. We know who the players are in the Super Bowl today. But we do need to talk about how we got here. So, I mean, I put that we were starting in the NFC, but we can start in the NFC or AC. It doesn't matter to me. Which game would you guys like to talk about first?
We can start with the NFC.
All right, set it out for us, big dog. NFC
Yeah, man.
Championship game. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. I think we know how it ended, but talk to us about how it got there.
Yeah, man. I think we all, we were kind of thinking that we were gonna see an entirely different game, right? I think everybody had counted the Eagles out. I was looking at NFC Beast the other day, like you guys were saying, everyone was talking about, the injuries, not you guys, obviously you guys were like, oh, we're there. We got the best team in the league for sure, which is true. The Eagles have probably the most complete team up and down in the league. But yeah, man, Saquon had a decent game coming through at 118 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. I think that was a difference maker, man. He came through and he did what DeAndre Swift wouldn't have done last year. So I think that was the key. AJ Brown, he almost had 100 yards. But man, the Eagles just came out. I think they just came out and they just kind of played their game from beginning to the end. I wouldn't say they dominated from beginning to the end because the Commanders were kind of in there at the beginning for like maybe 2 seconds, right? And then the game blew up and it opened up, and then we saw the game open up and change from there. But yeah, I think this is like the largest blowout in NFC Championship game. I'd have to look it up and see for sure. But yeah, man, that Eagles defense is freaking scary, man, for years to come. I think I shared it in a group chat, that Bleacher Report. It's so funny. It's so true, man. The way they constructed their defense and how it dominated. It dominated season, day in, day out, all year, and then it proved it again in this game, man. And it came through big. You got shut down, the most dynamic rookie the NFL has ever seen. And not only did you shut him down, you made him look like a rookie. The one game he didn't. Well, I guess the Super Bowl would probably be the one game he didn't need to, but the one game he really didn't need to look like a rookie after the entire season, the dominating, injuries dominating, you know what I mean? Missing players dominating, coming out, blown plays, still managed to break down, still managed to get it. And that defense, played like a defense that has seen this man twice this year. And really just kind of took it to them and showed why they meant to be here. So they got their rematch. Everything was built up. It's crazy. I think aside from the Commanders, it probably looked the same as the last time they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl as far as their path to get there. So it's crazy. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think, man, this NFC Championship game showed that the Eagles deserve to be here and that they're ready to be here. So I'm excited.
TJ, what about you, my good man?
Yeah, I mean, like said, the Eagles brought it. I think after the Lions playoff game, everyone was kind of like, whoa, are the Commanders, maybe they got, right time, getting hot kind of thing. But the Eagles shut that down real fast. Saquon took over as usual, possibly the best signing by a team in the offseason in a decade or two. I mean, this is almost like Peyton Manning going to the Broncos, instantly seemingly changed the entire trajectory of the offense. But then, you got to give respect to the defense. Eagles, the reason why I think they're also going to win tonight is just their defensive front is just overpowers opponents' offensive lines. And it had Daniels, looking around, running for his life. I think honestly that's what started to kind of frazzle him early on and get him, off his normal footwork and everything else. And again, I think we're going to see that tonight. But the Eagles, like it was said, man, they show that they were the best team in the NFC, and to drop a 50 burger in the second biggest game possibly of your entire season. I mean, that just shows that they're definitely ready, they're battle tested, and the core of the team that is back in the Super Bowl today was there 2 years ago. And the fresh faces like Saquon, man, he's hungry. It's going to be a good game.
Who was that player that just got back? You guys just got back, Cole?
Oh,
The
you like to know
defensive
who
player?
just got back?
Yeah, number 55.
Brown.
Brandon Graham.
Oh,
Yeah.
Graham.
BG, the biggest
Just
spit
in time.
talker out there.
Yeah. That's he wasn't even supposed to come back this year at all. And yeah. He
Well,
he worked to get
Super Bowl
back and
does
for
that
them to
to
make
you.
huh?
Super Bowl does that to you.
Right? You're not missing the Super Bowl. Come on. If you have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, are you gonna miss the Super Bowl? Sorry to cut you off, Cole. I know you're gonna get into it.
Hey,
this is your chance, your
you
moment. But I'm
good,
just saying,
you
like,
good.
that's just crazy that they score 55 points and then they get numbers. It's like they were calling them. They're like, yo, bro, 2 more weeks. We got you. Come on, let's finish it off. So I mean, I think whatever, I'll talk about it later. Go ahead, Cole.
Hey, man, all I can really say is I've been telling people since the preseason, this team ain't playing no games. Team's not playing no games. I was a little concerned after the first 4 games, but then I had to take off my fan hat and put on my analyst hat and realize it's hard to win a game with just Saquon if he doesn't have Devontae Smith or AJ Brown.
Oh
And
man,
Hurts ain't really throwing to everybody else. And Tampa Bay, they gave us that work, but again, you take anybody 2 top wide receivers away, they normally get to work. So it happened. But thank you, Tampa Bay, because that thorough thrubbing that you gave us, it seemed to be
woke
very
you up.
motivational. And I love me some motivation for the boys. So we turn it around. We did what we got to do. We got all the way to the NFC Championship game. And as every other game, the Eagles this, the Eagles that. Jalen Hurts can't win games, and they're gonna figure out how to stop Saquon. And when you stop Saquon, what do you do with the Eagles? What I want people to understand is just real simple. Saying you're gonna stop Saquon is a lot different from actually stopping him.
Especially when
Right.
you got Jalen Hurts running on the other side. And then, like you said, you got those 2 receivers on the outside, and you got that tight end in the middle. You got that line holder. You can't focus on Saquon, even when Saquon is being great. That's the thing about it. And then, sorry to cut you off and jump in. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the Eagles played. See, this is why I thought the Ravens would be there. See, the Eagles played playoff football the entire season. You run the ball in the playoffs, man. It's colder, drives, get longer. You short, you keep it, take it inch by inch. People were planning to do that they were planning to stop Saquon. They're like, oh, Saquon, he ain't running 200 yards against me. And then Jalen Hurts gets a 40-yard rushing touchdown, right? You're not worried about the quarterback running. You're not worried about the wide receiver catching a 50-yard touchdown reception. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, unless you have the Eagles defense, you can't focus on every aspect of the Eagles, unfortunately. Like, there's not many defenses built on every level to cover on every level like the Eagles defense is. I feel like, at least in this league. And I think the Chiefs will have a problem with that. They got Chris Jones up front. I mean, you got Chris Jones. You're getting some pressure for sure. I just feel like it's like, yeah, pick your poison. What are you going to stop?
Fair enough, man. But yeah, it's real simple. Like Saquon does what he does, right? He's gonna get a big play on everybody, at least one. Most games, 2 or 3. But when he gets the big plays, if it's not a touchdown, it's that ability to capitalize after that. To your point, Jalen Hurts. See, Jalen Hurts is what you call a dual threat quarterback. For those of you who may not know, what those guys do is they allow you to have to focus on them as a runner. So it's like having 12 men on the field. because essentially you got to watch the passer, but you also have to rush for him essentially being another rusher. And they do a lot of RPOs where he gets the opportunity to hold the ball or give it to Saquon. When you throw in those situations, we do get penalties, but that's because the linemen don't know what to do, so they're blocking. Now, sometimes they'll get down the field too far because they're anticipating the run. But it just makes things so dangerous for everyone else. And the fact that last game I felt like was the best called game that I've seen, well, at least in the top three for the season. And I think when you put a great game plan, it's executed properly, and the other team just isn't quite ready, this is what you get. So I've said this on several shows, and I'm gonna say this here as well. Shout out to the Washington Commanders, Redskins football team, whatever they're gonna be next. But Jaden Daniels is gonna be a problem. As most quarterbacks, he's probably gonna have a tough year too. Everybody figures out what you can do in the offseason after your first year. You made it all the way to the championship game. So now can you get back or go further? It may not happen next year just because, again, sophomore slump is real for everybody. But in the future, 2-3 years from now, the Commanders are going to be a team that's a problem, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to get where we're getting now, because I wanted to get there before this team reaches their potential.
I got a question about that before we move on. Just real quick. I know there's no Commanders fans in here, but with the Commanders, do we expect to see an RG3 type career because it is the Commanders, or does it feel a little bit different?
I know,
even though, because then they make it to the NFC Championship game with RG3.
I don't think they made it that far because
this rookie year,
wild card,
first round,
wild card.
Oh, yeah. I think you have a coaching staff that understands how to use him properly, and if he is injured, you have a coaching staff that has sense enough to say you're injured, sit down. Right? If it's a lower body injury, RG3 was ruined. Make no mistake about it. RG3 was ruined. I'm not saying he would have been the next big star in the league, but he would have been a top 15 quarterback, I believe, if he hadn't got beat up in a game where he shouldn't even been in after you saw that he was hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They like kind of used him up and then spit him out, right?
You got new ownership. You got a better group of coaches there now, so I think that Daniels will be fine there, and they'll put weapons around him because they don't have to pay him for 4 more years.
Right.
So you got the opportunity to sign guys, give them a lot of their money up front, and make things happen the way they need to make that team really good. And that's what you want to see. And I'm for the competition, right? I want the Commanders to be good. You know, I wouldn't mind if Dallas was a good team. I want the Giants to be good. I want people to be able to say the NFC East is the best division in football. And the Commanders have been the one that has had the least amount of success recently. So them coming up, I feel like is good for the division. It's good for us because now we got somebody that we can say iron sharpens iron with. So I'm for it. And I expect them to be better next year. But this year's not their year. This year's our year. But they were the other team that made it, and that means that, I mean, theoretically, they're the second best team in the NFC. And the second best team in the NFC. So if it wasn't for us,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But we here.
We here.
Did you want to say something, TJ? You look like you have something to say, sir. No, okay.
No, I'm disagreeing with everything you guys say. Hey, you know, the only thing I will say is because of the time change, you know, you're going RG3 going back a decade. They were still trying to figure out the dual threat quarterback to a T in the NFL. Now that the NFL period is more accustomed to it, I think any running quarterback has a better shot than RG3 would have had, you know, or did have, you know, a decade ago. Really, it was Michael Vick, and everyone was trying to copy off the prototype. Now they have the systems in place to keep quarterbacks healthy that are dual threat.
Lamar Jackson's the prototype now.
Lamar Jackson's on his own level. He should have been MVP, but, you know, we're just saying, you know.
Yeah, we ain't even going to get into that.
Oh, we are going to talk about the awards, though, so we can get into that. Here.
Okay.
About the AFC Championship. We got time. You know
okay.
We got time. But Yeah, Washington's an improving team for sure. I think the Lions may take a step back because of the coaching staff losses. Um, I wholeheartedly believe that Kellen Moore is staying in New Orleans, and he's going to
I
be the
would.
next head coach of the Saints. Um,
Why not? He was a freaking backup quarterback. What 6 years ago?
so I think Kellen Moore will need a new OC next year. That could stun us some because for elite teams, it's hard when you lose a coordinator. Detroit lost both of their coordinators,
Mm-hmm.
so they did
And a
get
lot
some
of
good hires.
assistants.
Yeah, and then a lot of assistants went with those two coordinators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're able to elevate them. If I was a coordinator and now I'm a head coach and you were a second assistant, I can make you like an assistant, right? Um, I can make you.
Megatron.
I need a defense coordinator, offense coordinator, so I can bring people that I think would be great in these roles from a staff that I'm on, and I've already worked with them.
Mm-hmm.
So Detroit has a lot of work to do to just solidify both sides of the ball. But Kellen Moore, good luck to you after the game. All I ask is that you don't do what Jonathan Gagnas did.
And then I mean the Saints came out and they made it. They were like, "Nah, we're doing whatever we can to make sure that doesn't happen." Right? They're pretty cognitive. What's the word? They're pretty conscious of that, and they're making sure that there's no situation like that because they ain't trying to give the Eagles no picks either.
No, what I mean is go out there and actually do your job for this
Oh,
game.
I thought
Don't
you
be
meant the
worried about.
collusion part,
Oh no, I
the
don't worry
whole
about it. Hey,
tampering.
if you want to tamper with him and give us some picks, then do it. That's fine.
I guess that's
I don't
true.
have a problem with that.
That's true,
Tamper and give us some picks. But Kellen Moore, I just need you to have your mind in this game
right?
on
Well, you
Sunday.
would think though, like you would want to go out on a bang if you know you're leaving, right? Because you're not getting back to this position with the Saints. I'm sorry, like you're not gonna move over to the
Okay.
NFC and then come in and knock off the team you put there, right? So, I mean,
Couple of comments here, guys. Key says passing Lincoln Financial right now. What up, Key? Key also says fly Eagles fly.
Eagles fly.
Fly Eagles fly. He says we got the law firm Brown and Smith. Laugh out loud. We're talking about the team.
nah, Brown, Smith, and Goddard,
And then
your whole team of law firm.
Detroit Taylor says we got you. Enough said. Key says that job is going to be horrible.
But that
And
pay
then
gonna
Key
be
says
nice.
facts.
I get paid a lot less to do stuff I don't like. I'll take that.
I mean, the thing is, if I'm him, I'm probably taking that job just off the strength of this opportunity I might not get again.
Exactly,
And,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I'm not mad that he's leaving. My whole thing has always been teams. You have these guys that are commodities. Kellen Moore is a guy we've been talking about for a head coach for a couple of years, so you
No.
understand that when he comes in, it's going to be short term. Where's his replacement?
Why haven't you worked on that?
Staff? Why don't you have a quarterback coach, an offensive assistant, a pass game coordinator, run game coordinator, somebody that you feel comfortable? If Kellen Moore leaves, then you say, hey, you can go with Kellen Moore or you can stay with a winning organization and you can take his job.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to stay.
Yeah.
Should try and get Deuce Staley back.
Ooh.
He should have never left, but that's a different story too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because I think the thing about it is too is like you have to find a line too, right? Because you train these people, you may train these people and put them in position, and then the assistant coach leave and they see this person, they're like, well, they got the experience now. Let me go ahead and give them a pay grade, a bump, bring them on with me.
If he says right, I get why he took it. But I mean, so think about it like this. If you're, and this is not just the Eagles, this is any team. If you're the guy that basically, hey, if he leaves, we're gonna move you in this position. So we need you to learn. We need you to glean everything you can. We're in the playoffs. We're deep in the playoffs. We're in the Super Bowl, whatever. If a team's firing their head coach, that means they suck.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to take similar money to stay with the team, get the bump up, and be in a position where people are looking at you 2 or 3 years like, maybe I should bring him in as a head coach? Or are you going to go to a dumpster fire and help somebody fix it? You're probably all going to be fired in 2 or 3 years. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, in
I
that
would
2 or
stay with the
3
women.
years, you made what you would have made in 7 or 8 years.
Not really, because you don't know.
He'll just go back and be a coordinator. Well, if he gets fired, he'll just go back and be an offensive coordinator somewhere. We see it all the time.
But it doesn't always work. Frank Wright hasn't been an offensive coordinator
because Frank Wright sucked.
He was great as our coordinator when we won a Super Bowl.
But as a Colts coach, he was very stagnant, throwing 3-yard passes, rushing the ball for 4 yards.
Yeah, everybody's not a head coach though, but you have to have the opportunity to know if you are or not.
That's a lot when you're a head coach, right? Like you're not just coach. You're overseeing the organization, right? Like you're basically the CEO for the CEO or for the GM. You're the GM for the GM, and like you got way more on the team and on your plate than as a coordinator. You're just an offensive coordinator. You're coordinating just the offense.
I'm not telling a coordinator not to leave. I'm saying, just to be clear, what I'm saying is if you're the guy, if you're a team and you know you have a coordinator that's more than likely going to leave in a year or two as to be a head coach.
Yeah.
You have a staff full of people that's working with him every day. Why haven't you on that staff identified the guy that's going to be your next coordinator? And why haven't you started to prep them so that when he leaves, they can step in? What I'm saying is that person that's going to be the new coordinator. Mm-hmm. Of course, the guy that's going to take the other head coaching job is probably going to say, hey, you want to come with me and be my offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
I'm saying I would rather, if I'm going to have the same job and be in the same pay range, I'm going to stay with the team that got you a head coaching job, that somebody might come and holler at me in 2 or 3 years.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So you're not
coordinator, and then me and the head coach getting fired in 2 or 3, maybe 4 years because the team sucks so bad. That's what
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, let me ask you though, would you rather for them to bring somebody from the organization, or would you rather for them to go out and maybe get somebody like maybe in a college game or
to come be our OC?
What?
If not him, do Staley.
Who was the first one?
Frank Wright.
Oh.
He was great with us. I don't care what he did anywhere else. I don't care that he sucked as a head coach. That's not my problem. I could give 2 shakes of a monkey's nut.
Was he the OC when y'all went to the Super Bowl?
He was the OC when we won the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yes.
With Nick Foles? Nick Foles won that Super Bowl, by the way. The OC didn't win that Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
I would completely disagree with that, but he did have a role play in that, but he did call a great play that got us a touchdown.
What? The Chicago special?
The Philly special.
Oh,
we call that. But I don't know nothing about a Chicago special. We call it Philly special. I have to go look that play up and see if there's something for me to find out what that play is.
2 deep dish pizzas for $19.99.
The rectangle.
1 topping.
Cheese only. No, that was a good play though, and that was very memorable, especially in a position, like you needed to get it done, and it got done. Plus, he knocked off the Patriots, right? Like,
yes, he did.
You can't.
A lot of great plays. Brandon Graham had a fumble recovery.
That was the last time y'all stopped the 3-peat, right? Patriots are on the way to a 3-peat, right?
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. You're right. You're not wrong, but we're going to get to that.
You're wrecking the promos, man.
I know a little bit of Eagles history, man. I used to watch the McNabb days, man. Him and Reed, it's only right. Oh, God. Keep it going, man. You better keep going.
In the ground. McNabb would come in first quarter, throwing the ball accurately. Second quarter, get a little shaky. Third quarter, he'd be underthrowing. And then, ironically, he'd be overthrowing in the fourth quarter. Dude, what are you doing?
That pressure.
I don't understand how you start off good and get worse. I can understand how you may start off bad and then you settle in and you get a little bit better.
Well, because no changes are made, and then the other team knows what you're about to do. I do it all the time in Madden, man. Let me tell you. I come out, I'm throwing 40, 50-yard passes in the first quarter, right? Second quarter, I'm running 30, 40, 50 yards with my quarterback. Come out after halftime, adjustments, man. I can't run those same plays no matter how accurate I throw. The defenses know. Same thing. You can't, and I think that really taught Andy Reid a lot too. I think he learned from that.
And he didn't learn the next couple of years because he's
But you see it with the Chiefs though, man. The Chiefs are amazing closers. And maybe that's Patrick Mahomes, but the Chiefs, will close out a game with an efficient order. So, I think he definitely evolved from that, though.
I have some thoughts on that too, but I'll give those when we get to the Super Bowl as well. But we'll move on. If you guys any other thoughts on the NFC Championship game before we move on?
What a beatdown! You think the Lions were there would have been a beatdown? Yeah.
Do you really want me to answer that question?
I mean, it's all hypothetical. You know, can't even. Obviously, they lost.
I mean, the team that beat them down got beat down.
Yeah. So yeah, by law of it
Law of
would have.
logic.
And the Commanders actually had their defense on the field. The Lions had like their third stringers out there.
Yeah, so it would have been interesting to see just speed against speed, though.
Personally speaking, I think the Commanders saved the Lions. I'll just say that. But AFC Championship game.
Woo! The Bills won.
The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. I just want to say one thing, and then y'all can have it. I just want to say one thing. Playoff Allen is very bad against the Chiefs. Josh Allen against the Chiefs is not a good look. He's going to have to figure out a way to get over that hump if he wants to be one of the greats. And he didn't do it this year either.
And he won't.
I'm just saying, if he wants to be a great, he's got to. I'm not saying he is or not. I agree with you. I don't think he will. But in order to take the next step, that's what he's got to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Bureau did it one time, and then his whole city blew it for him. But that's what you got to do. We'll let TJ start this one. TJ, we'd love to have your analytical thoughts on this game before me and Sid just give you some more opinions and blasphemy.
I mean, it did not help the narrative. I'll tell you that much. In reality, you know what I mean. Did the Bills come in and did they perform up to their standard? No. Did they capitalize on big moments? You can argue that technically they did at least once or twice, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can also argue that they shouldn't have put themselves in that spot to begin with. They should have taken care of business on their own because everybody who goes up against the Chiefs this season knows how 50-50, I'll call it, calls go. So you got to put yourself ahead of that. I thought that they were, looking like they were about to. After that, I'll call it questionable spot. It was pretty much all Kansas City from that point on. The Bills did answer back. I was surprised by that, but at the end of the day, it's like Cool's been saying all year. You got to get ahead and you got to basically stomp them out because that kind of stuff is what happens. And you don't want to leave. It's almost like watching a UFC fight at the end with a split decision or something like that. What's the first thing the fighters say? I shouldn't have left it in the judge's hands. Don't leave the game in the ref's hands. Take care of business on your own. Josh Allen, he did look a little stiff early on, especially. Nerves were definitely getting to him. They're in my opinion, the Bills were in the game. They gave up a lot of points, but they were in the game because of their defense keeping them in, because the offense made a lot of mistakes, didn't capitalize on a lot of things. Again, you can argue about the calls that were questionable. In my opinion, I'm more focused on that catch because that was not a catch. The ball literally scrapes the ground. You can see it move, but they rule it a catch. If anything, it should have been ruled a pick and then down by contact. But again, you left it up to the refs, and we know how that goes. So I feel bad for Josh Allen and the Bills. I'm on the side of I'm not sure if they'll ever truly get over the hump or not. I think it's just in their minds at this point now, that they think about it like, oh yeah, we're not going to get over the hump, or this is our year. Then they don't. It sets into your psyche. But for now, we have to see the Chiefs again play, and they played okay. They did what they've been doing all year. They barely inked by. maybe, most likely, definitely got some help. And at the end of the day, go Eagles.
Thought you were a Steelers fan. Go Eagles.
Pennsylvania pride, man.
That is the worst. You're supposed to be against them all
That's my
day.
Pennsylvania brother, man. Don't do that today.
Nah.
Don't do that today.
Nah.
Hey, when one team sucks, you jump on the bandwagon of the other. That's how it
Hey.
if they make it. We support them.
Hey, I know, man. I run the show, Mile High Bandwagon. I know all about the bandwagon. I'll hop on that mug. Hey, I think it's funny though. Are you good? Are you done, TJ? I think it's funny. The Bills gave the Texans Stephon Diggs, right, to fix their receiver troubles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out to be the Texans who had receiver issues, and the Bills who had no-name receivers out there looking like some starting, receivers. I think maybe that's what won Josh Allen the MVP, quite honestly, because he really didn't have any receivers this year. He really didn't have any receivers. Yeah, he had people out there. There were bodies out there. There were names on the backs of those jerseys. And we all know Amari Cooper, but come on, man. Like, Amari Cooper was just, you know how you have that good knife, that Cutco knife you bought from the guy in the grocery store, right? And it's an amazing knife. This knife you buy, it cuts through paper. Your whole paper just cut through it, but you never sharpen it, right? It just get dull. So you pull it out, you're like, oh, this is a great knife in name, in theory, but you can't even cut a tomato with it. And sorry, that's Amari Cooper. He's just been sitting with the Browns, getting dull. And now he's expected to be number one. He wasn't even a number 4 option on this Bills team that didn't even have a number 3 option. So I think that's what probably helped get Josh Allen his MVP. But this game, man, like TJ said, like you can't, like you said too, you can't have a close game against the Chiefs, regardless of the refs, because the Chiefs are the number 1 closer. They're either Pat Mahomes is going to close it out, or the refs are going to close it out, or Taylor Swift is going to close it out. But somebody's closing it out. If you give them any amount of time, it's going to happen. We've seen it done for the past 7 years. Since Pat Mahomes took over, we've seen it done. And that's what happened when the Bills took it down. I said it on my show. I was like, man, you just hold the ball. You got maybe the best or the second best or the 1A to 1B rushing quarterback in the league. You can't take the game and make it longer. You can't hold the ball until they only have like 30 seconds left, right? So if something does happen, no, they go down and they score their points, right? They got to get down and they got to score, and they give it back to them, like 4 or 5 minutes left. That's the game right there, whether you get the ball back or not. They get the ball back and they don't do nothing. The refs didn't. There was that first down play with Josh Allen where it was a first down. The world saw it was a first down. Everybody knew it was a first down, and they called it a turnover, right? Like, why are you using that as your only chance to run with Josh Allen? They're in the 3-yard line trying to throw the ball. They got to kick a field goal because they can't rush with their Russian quarterback who just won MVP because he's supposed to be such a great quarterback. Yet they didn't even trust him with his legs. Whatever, man. The Bills deserve to lose that game. I look at Josh Allen. He's like James Harden, man. And the Chiefs are the Warriors. I don't care what he does, where he goes, who he brings in. He's going to shrink when it comes down time to play them, because not just him shrinking. You see the fact that they have a crap team when it comes time to go up against the Chiefs, and he can't do it like we think he can do it. Everything's easy during the regular season when teams don't sit there and prep and plan for every single tendency and every single thing you do. Good teams can cover that, right? They can stop that, right? Because they have the players, but they don't prep for that. In the playoffs, you're looking and you're seeing exactly what these players do, and you know every single tendency. You know what I mean? You're shutting it down, and we see that when it comes time to do it, like Josh Allen just can't. They don't believe in him like that. They try to make him look like a regular quarterback in those times, and it fails every single time. Like, yeah, man, Bills deserve to lose this game. I don't know how he won MVP, but I don't like the Chiefs. But yeah, yeah. they gave it to him for sure.
Sam says, "Fly Eagles fly." What up, Sam? The big dog at Shady Sports.
All right,
In the
big dog
building
Sam.
watching us. So good, people. Speaking of awards, what I would like to do instead of going through every award, y'all know who won what by now. Said I'm gonna let you go since you worked up on the MVP thing anyway. We know the awards, right? You know who won everything, right? Saquon, Offensive Player of the Year. That dude that we smacked around for running his mouth in the Rams won Defensive Player of the Year. Jaden Daniels won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He got the best moment of the year with the Hail Mary. You know, we know Josh Allen also got the Air and Ground Attack Award for ground. I don't understand how he got ground, but Jamar Chase got the Air Award. He got the Ground Award. He also won Best Sportsman, and then Saquon won the Running Back of the Year award. So just some of them. There's some more. You know, Coach of the Year. Some people have some issues with who won Coach of the Year, but you know, whatever you would like to talk about that, sir. Said we'll start with you, and then TJ, whatever you would like to add or disagree with that says, feel free.
Yeah. How are they gonna vote Josh Allen MVP and not even vote for him for Offensive Player of the Year is what I want to know. It's just weird, man. It's just like they were just like, oh, we don't want Lamar to win it because they didn't go to the Super Bowl, which sucks because I saw the same thing happen to the Joker when he should have had his three-peat, and they took that moment away on some stupid voting. This is what happens when you depend on people to control the outcome. This is what happens when you let the refs take over in the third and the fourth quarter, and then you get stupid crap like this. No one cares about Josh Allen not going anywhere. They can't get to the Super Bowl. Like, whose fault is that, man? The Bills ain't never won a Super Bowl, right? We don't care about this. Is not a participation league. If you're going to give it to the quarterback, at least give it to the best quarterback, right? If you're going to go off stats, Lamar won that. If you're going to go off wins, Patrick Mahomes won that. Josh Allen didn't do crap. Yeah, he didn't have receivers. Yeah, he didn't have a squad, and he went out and he held his own. But also look at this division he was in too. One can argue he kind of had an easy path to get to where he got to, at least winning his division. Then it was a matter of just seeding and holding out. And then that game against the Chiefs helped them because the Chiefs, it's LeBron in the regular season. They don't care about you. Play them, beat them. That's what they tell everyone. That's why the Chiefs have these 3-point wins. They're like, come on, beat us. We want you to. We want to have some adversity so we can go back and be like, oh, well, we got this chip on our shoulder. What happened? They came out and they did the same thing. They taunted them. Beat us. And then they couldn't beat them in the playoffs, man. MVP, though, whatever. Who even cares? I don't even care about the MVP award. I don't think the players do. I guess you do because you do get a bump, but you really get that pay bump from all pros, right? And I'm pretty sure Josh Allen wasn't an all pro or whatever they call it in the NFL. It's just crazy, though, that he did. If anything, he should have gave it to Saquon just off GP. If you were going to give it to someone else, quite honestly, like, why do we give this to Josh Allen when we know the Bills, 1, aren't going anywhere, 2, won't go anywhere, and 3, their window already passed 2 seasons ago? I don't know what we're thinking this is going to accomplish, but I don't know, man. It just sucks. It feels like when, like I said, like when the Joker missed out. And I think we're going to see a more determined Lamar. We're about to see a dangerous Ravens team because of this next year, man. Like, they're going to produce a chip. But, yeah, I mean, as far as the other ones, though, Kevin O'Connell or whatever his name is, winning Coach of the Year after getting smacked by Dan Quinn twice, after getting smacked, by the Commanders. Yeah, it's so weird that, like, how do they look at – do they not look at other stuff? I get it, yeah, like, JJ McCarthy was hurt, but are we really saying that are we really saying we were expecting JJ McCarthy to take the Vikings to the playoffs? 1 game out of their division. Come on now. We weren't expecting him to have that much of an impact. Yeah, Sam Darnold came in and did that because, once again, teams don't care in the regular season. They're not sitting there going through every single week of your games in the regular season. They got like 4 or 5 days, sometimes less than that, to prepare for you. They're not looking at everything you do. So, Sam Darnold, please throw your little floaters. And then what happened later in the season once teams started paying attention? Shutting it down. Justin Jefferson getting mad on the sideline. Man, it was just. But hey, that's the championships, though, right? It is what it is. It's all opinion based, and that's what it will be. Because what else do we break? What do we base it off of? It's not like they have a definite definition of what it should be or what it's based off of. It's just whatever these people they feel who should get it. So if you told somebody 3 years ago, hey, if I get a chance, I'm gonna vote for you, bro, and then you vote for them and you get it. That's just what it is, right? It's like coaches. It's like coaches when they go to be a head coach somewhere and they're like, you know what? I'm bringing TJ in to be my player personnel coach. You know what I mean? I know he was working at McDonald's last week, but this guy is a people person, right?
Hold up. You said, I told somebody 3 years ago, if you're ever to vote, I'm going to vote for you, bro.
Yeah. And then they vote for him. What was the reason? Tell me, what was the reason of Kevin O'Connell getting coach of the year? Where can you truly look and see besides the fact that the Vikings have an amazing squad, right?
I could see him. I could see him. He was sitting at his home calling numbers. Hey, remember 7 years ago when you said you would? Yeah, you better vote for me now,
you
guys.
better
Come
vote
on.
for me. He had it written down in his book. He a head coach. He a head coach. He got the best memory in the world. He had it written down. He was calling mugs from his college days. Like, yo, you remember that economics test we had, and you said if I ever get anywhere in the writing world, hey, I'm gonna need that phone in. Because what reason did you have? There were so many good coaches, honestly. And I'm not just saying it because Sean Payton took a team from the dumpster fire and took them up and made them something with a true rookie quarterback, not a first-round pick from 5-6 years ago that's been on 7 teams. So, of course, he's a vet. He knows what he's going to do, but we make it seem like he's supposed to be, you know, like he was some 7th-round pick that is all of a sudden good. Like Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback guru, right? Isn't that how he got the job or something? He like worked with Trevor Lawrence or something, and I don't know. But anyway, like, how did he get coach of the year? I'm saying, if anything, Sirianni should have got it for telling the fans to shut up and still being the head coach. I don't know. That's just me. That's the end of my rant.
That is wild. TJ, man. Oh, boy.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying I didn't disagree with Coach of the Year. I felt like in reality, it was coming down to him or Dan Quinn, just because they were the two that team-wise were predicted to not go anywhere really, or have a lot of growing pains. Now, Dan Quinn in Washington, they're ahead of schedule by, I'll say a year, possibly 2, because nobody expected Jaden Daniels to come out like that. He deserved Rookie of the Year. I don't think anybody in their right mind, unless you were just a pure hater of him or Washington, would disagree with that. That's, he was the best rookie by far.
I wouldn't say by far. How would you go?
Listen, Bo Nix was not close to him. All right, man. Accept
what?
it.
He had better stats across the board, but to each his own. To each his own. Brock Bowers had a phenomenal season too. I'm just saying, like, he wasn't by far the best rookie. He was just, we didn't expect that, even though we knew it. We just act like we didn't expect it.
He was a quarterback. We should have assumed that he was automatically going to win it. Pretty much. That's how these awards go.
True.
But for the Vikings, I mean, especially after all the injury news broke early in the year with JJ McCarthy and everything, they were predicted to be, I mean, I remember us joking on the show, if they get 4 or 5 wins with Sam Darnold, that'll be a miracle. And here they are, in 99% of every other season scenarios, they're the division champs and going for the number 1 seed. They just had the unfortunate of being the second best team in the NFC record-wise with the first team ahead of them, for a while. So I don't disagree with that. MVP, Man, I knew that who I wanted, Saquon Barkley, was not going to be given the bone because he's not a quarterback. So even being a Steelers fan, you got to appreciate and respect the greatness and pure annoyance of having to face him twice a year. That is Lamar Jackson. But you know what? All that animosity comes from respect because I hate having to go against him. I would love him to be on my team. So that kind of surprised me. I thought he had an edge over Josh Allen. I had a feeling when he beat him in the playoff game a few weeks ago that was going to slide, even though it's only supposed to be a regular season award. But yeah, that my biggest gripe personally is Josh Allen. I mean, he's an awesome guy, awesome quarterback, but in my opinion, he should have been number 2 in that voting. And Saquon, you know, can't disagree with him getting Offensive Player of the Year. I just think that personally they should change the awards from MVP to Best Quarterback Award, and then Best Offensive Player for that way wide receivers and running backs and stuff can get in the mix too, and tight ends. Because I mean, let's face it, the MVP award is basically just who's our favorite quarterback this year award. That's really all it is at this point.
Unless you're
But
a phenomenal player in your own right. But yeah,
yeah. I mean,
normally
if you're Peyton Manning with the Broncos throwing for 50+ touchdowns, yeah, you're doing good. But I mean, for a season like Saquon had, like Lamar had, and for them to pick Josh Allen, but that was the narrative all year. They kept talking him up in the media. They wanted him to be that guy. They wanted some kind of fresh feel to it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they should have done that with the Super Bowl instead of favoring a team. I don't know. But yeah, those are my 2 cents with the awards.
I got something to say, Cole, before you go in. If Kevin O'Connell was meant to be Coach of the Year, how come they didn't give Sam Darnold Comeback Player of the Year then? That's all I gotta say. It was rigged.
And the NFL doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
We
they just
learned
didn't
that
want to
this
give the
year.
Broncos any awards. That's all I gotta say. Oh, we got Defensive Player of the Year. Couldn't deny that.
You did.
Listen, man, Sean Payton will never win Coach of the Year. He has pissed off too many higher ups in the NFL. That'll never happen. Nothing against the Broncos. It's just him as a person. You can't anger people in the NFL. They blacklist you.
Especially when you go in the media and you start talking trash too.
Yeah.
You make movies about yourself and stuff.
So
Chicken Nugget King.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the comments. I'm gonna let y'all have it on the
I'm just saying, man, like what grinds my gears is these teams. And you know what? Awards don't, you only care about one thing, right? The Super Bowl, right? If you're not in the Super Bowl, what's everything else is just kind of what it is. Like it doesn't, who cares? Like what do they say? Stats are for losers. But still though, it's just like it's good though. It's a good sign though, I think, for the league, showing that there are this many individuals that you can point to and truly be like, well, this person should have had it, this person should have did it. Especially in the sense of like the rookie class too, because I think this is probably by far one of the better rookie classes we've seen in quite some time.
Especially for the Eagles.
Man, you think you're gonna see any one of those cornerbacks having their shot at a Defensive Player of the Year in the next 4 or 5 years?
Problem is they're both together, and it's hard when you have other really good players around you. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you see guys get it that their team is not a great defensive team, but they're a great individual defensive player. And I'm not saying that the Broncos were garbage, but I'm saying when you look at the Broncos, you say you got some decent pieces, but Surtain is the main guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think you got to be in one of those situations to get the award.
I hope they grow, man. I hope they talk to each other and like, yo, like,
but they will be good.
We're 1A, 1B. I hope the team treats them like 1A, 1B and just let them grow. So when it comes time to re-sign them, I want to see these guys, see how they can grow together and just become like that true, like, lockdown duo, man. You can't go to any side of it. I want to.
Don't you think I want to?
Right? That's what, man.
We ain't had no lockdown deep cornerback duo that I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, I don't know of any from the Eagles.
That's what I'm saying, in a long time.
Go Chiefs. See?
He says go Chiefs. He says just kidding, cool. Hey man, if you want to roll for the Chiefs, man, hey. I don't want everybody to be like the Eagles. I need some people to like the Chiefs. So that's cool.
I hope they both lose. Quite
That's fair, too.
honestly,
That's fair too.
yeah.
Jack Anderson says this will be the 5th time this song is played before the Super Bowl game, and this will be the 5th time I don't watch the game. Fair enough, Jack. Hey, I get it, bro. I'll be watching, but I get it. So, Sports PSP a little ahead, but it's all good. We'll get there. Eagles 30, Chiefs 24. And since Sports PSP has went ahead and opened the gates, I say we slide on through the gates. TJ, I think this is a great spot for you to start, sir. Super Bowl 59, 6:30 p.m. tonight. Feel free to any other thoughts, but the questions I do want to ask: who do you think is going to win? Which I know, but I got to ask the questions. Got to be fair.
Oh, I wish you could see it better. Oh,
Also, who is going to be the MVP? And what is the primary matchup to look forward to in the game?
Well, first off, obviously I'm going with the Eagles. I think their MVP. I mean, I think it's really a toss-up between the two main guys on offense, Hurts and Saquon. I say that because they've proven throughout the season that while obviously it's awesome to get, Brown and Devontae Smith involved, they don't always need to have stellar statistical games, which is what you look for in the MVP, award for the game. But it's going to go through Hurts and it's going to go through Saquon. They're going to get their numbers. I'm not saying that Smith is not going to get a touchdown or anything like that, but I just think the impact that Hurts or Saquon is going to have is going to be heavier. If I had to pick one, I would probably edge with Saquon just because he's been by far the best running back all season long, and he's gone into his own little beast mode in my opinion in these playoffs.
I like it.
But yeah, so that's who I would say for that. And the matchups, I'm going to stick with the battle between the offensive and defensive fronts because whoever's defensive line, in my opinion, the Eagles is going to be more dominant, that is going to disrupt the opposing offense. Or if it's the offensive line that's able to figure out a way to hold off the defensive line, it's going to open up lanes for running. It's going to give time for either quarterback to pass. So I'm going to look at the line work in the game tonight because that's where it all starts. And whoever has the cleanest pocket or the best line to burst through running back wise, that's obviously going to be a huge advantage and probably going to dictate who wins the game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sid, same question, sir.
Yeah, they both suck. I hate both of them, and I hope they come back next season hurt. But for tonight, since we got to watch it, right, America, we got to do it, right? Yeah, I went to Chat GPT, right? Because to invoke your rockinisms, it doesn't matter who wins this game to me. But anyway, yeah, no, we got a rematch. What was it, 2 years ago or something? Really turn it into Warriors, Cavs, LeBron, Steph Curry type matchups. And I'm here for it, man. Hey, you know what? You got to beat them to stop it, right? You want to see something different, and go out and beat them. Everybody has the same amount of players on the field. That's the one thing about football is they make sure you have 11 men on the field at all times, right? Like if you have more, you have less, somebody's getting a penalty. So they're always watching it. It's a lot slower than basketball. You can't slip somebody in there. So everybody has the same amount of players, pay them the same amount of money. You're all professional teams. You all got billionaires running your team. So you got money to blow. Anyway, played 2 years ago. Chat GPT says expert predictions are divided, reflecting the strengths of both teams. Obviously been divided. Some favor the Eagles and their dynamic duo of Jalen Hurts and running back Saquon Barkley. So Keyshawn Johnson says it's going to be 35-27. Then on the Chiefs side, James Jones says it's going to be 30-27, which is interesting because it's showing you see both sides. Like if you look at people that are saying the Eagles are going to win, It's usually by more than a touchdown, like a touchdown or more. It's not like a field goal. It's not 2 or 3 points.
You know why that's the
Yeah.
case.
So with the Chiefs, it's like, nah, the Chiefs are going to come in and they're going to squeeze that little field goal out. They're going to get that first down in the fourth quarter with 1 minute, 12 seconds left. You know, they're going to throw the ball. Pat Mahomes he ain't going to throw the ball. The ball's just going to slip up in the air, some glitch in the system, right? And it's going to get not caught, and somehow it'll be a first down, pass interference, roughing the passer all together, and they get a first down on the 3-yard line, kick a field goal. Win the game, as we've seen. What I want to know is, who would you rather, and you can answer these when you go, cool, but who would you rather party with, Gilly the Kid or Kevin Hart? Because both of them are going ham right now. They've been going ham this whole playoff
That's not
run.
even a question.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Kevin. Yeah, obviously.
Great.
But I mean, I feel like Gilly been going ham. The Eagles got some fans, man. It would have been funny to see Taylor Swift out there with a Chiefs fat head on, you know, kind of promoting for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are kind of like, you don't see a whole lot on there. And, you know, they kind of got fatigue, which is funny because.
No, you don't have to do that because the Swifties are going to bring in another 50 million people anyway.
Exactly. Hands down. They're already got their beads being made up to put on there. They're ready to be there and let it go or whatever
their beads.
she sings. I don't know what they do these days. But anyway, so ChatGPT was like, oh, it's a split decision. It's going to be a close game. I don't know what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, who's going to win? Tell me.
Ain't nobody going to do it for you. You got to pick it. Ain't nobody going to do it for you. You got to draw a line in the sand.
I asked ChatGPT to do it because I'm not. And it said the Chiefs.
She said no.
It said the Chiefs, 30-27.
Okay. So you going with the Chiefs?
I'm going to go with the Eagles because I can't have the Chiefs get a 3-P, man. I can't have them. I don't want to hear. I'm tired, man. My homie Nathan Talley, right? This dude, diehard Chiefs fan, man. He would wear like maybe one Chiefs item back in the day. You may see a Chiefs hat here and there. Now it's Chiefs head to toe, man. They think they're the next coming of Jesus Christ. They act like they've been here before. They think they're the Patriots franchise. I'm tired of these Chiefs fans, man. And I feel like the Eagles have a lot more to lose, too, if they lose this game. Like, they built it up to get back. So I think they're just ready to go. I got the Eagles winning this game. I didn't want to say it, but I got to go with the Eagles, man. And I'm going to call it a big one, 45-27.
Wow. Okay.
They're going to blow it off the wall and continue what they did 2 weeks ago.
I think Saquon or a defensive player like a fellow birthday twin. Shout out to the birthday twins. Let me give y'all a little factuals on that. Today is Cooper DeJean, number 33's birthday. And it's also Saquon Barkley, number 26's birthday. So, not a mathematician by far, right? Not a mathematician. It's not my desired field or my area of expertise. But I think if you take 33 and you add 26 to it, I believe it's 59. And this is Super Bowl 59. So
hey,
these two birthday men are going to go out there and allow their team to lose on their birthday.
Dang, on both sides of the ball too, right? On both, not just one side of the ball.
I think you could have a sneak. I do agree. I think if you're looking at the game and you're picking a guy to be the MVP, you're going to look at Saquon Barkley. But I think like a Quinyon Mitchell, a Cooper DeJean, a CJ GJ, get a couple of turnovers, make a couple of plays, or a real dark horse that I think people will like. I like to give you about 5 options. You know, there's a guy named Zach Bond who has been a freaking monster for us. A revelation at one of our weakest positions in the last 20 years, linebacker, that might make it happen as well. I think there's some. It's going to be hard for it to not be Saquon, but just some other guys to look at and say, okay, these guys could possibly do it too. Hurts, you always have to include if you're going to include Saquon. So I definitely agree with what TJ said, but just some other names besides those guys, because I feel like they're going to be obviously 1A, 1B. But if you're looking at 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think those are guys to look at. A lot of guys on the defensive side. Super sneaky pick, since you guys asked for it, whether you did or not. AJ Brown. Because if you throw it to him, he's going to catch in the Super Bowl, right? Because let's not forget AJ Brown, Smitty, a lot of these guys were on this team 2 years ago that watched the confetti fall on them and watched Kansas City celebrate. And Brandon Graham is back. So it's really an exciting time, to be an Eagles fan. I think the matchup for me to watch is going to be how the team responds to the perceived, well, freak that, man. How the team responds to these horrible calls that are going to go against them. Because what I've seen in a lot of these games is you get one or two of these bad calls that go against you when you're playing the Chiefs, and then your team starts to melt down. They don't keep their poise. The calls are going to happen. Period. They're going to happen. They may not happen as much, but they're going to happen. So you got a 3rd and 5. You get a first down. They throw a bad flag. Are you going to go back in the huddle mad and complain? Or are you going to say, okay, well, we knew that was going to happen. So now we got to get 15 yards. So let's go out there and get this 15 to 20 yards. That's what Philadelphia's going to have to do. They're going to have to be able to say, you know what? The bad calls are going to happen at inopportune times, but they're going to be opportune times for the Chiefs. And the NFL is going to act like it's not. And there's no problem. So what you do is you still have to execute. That 3rd and 1 turns into a 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 16. You got to get 17 yards. It is what it is. There's nothing to cry about. You know it. You're going to have to beat this team. You're going to have to smack them around. You're going to have to put your foot on their throat and press heavily. Because there's no other way to win this game. There ain't no going out there. That's why even the professionals, everyone who's picking, they're saying close game Chiefs, because they understand in a close game, those extra 5 or 6 people they have on black and white stripes that might as well be red and gold stripes are going to go for the Chiefs. So if the Eagles are going to win, they're going to have to get into a situation where you're up by 3 scores. You have to be up by 3 scores. And that needs to be 2 touchdowns, and it can be a field goal or 3 touchdowns. And the reason I say that is you're going to have to be in a situation where you can absorb 1 or 2 bad calls that cause them to get a score and cause you not to be able to score late in the game. And in order to do that, you got to have a big cushion. So you got to win the turnover battle. So to me, the keys for success, and I'll ask you guys this as well, your keys to success, but my keys to success for the Philadelphia Eagles: running the ball, win the turnover battle, containing the edges. Mahomes likes to run the edges unless there's a big hole in the middle. And just like last week, lots of physicality. Defense, when you hit somebody, make them remember they got hit. I'm not saying try to hurt anybody, but I am saying they need to remember they got hit. When their wide receiver decides he's going to come over the middle, Xavier Worthy or Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, or DeAndre Hopkins or whoever is going to try to come over the middle and make that catch, make them remember what it feels like to go over that middle and get that catch. You can get the catch, but you're going to pay the cost to make that catch. That's what a lot of teams haven't been doing, and Philadelphia is physical enough and can cover each other enough to do those things, right? Contain your gaps. Make sure that you are watching those holes in the zone, because that's why Kelce loves to work. Travis Kelce, he loves to work the hole in the zones. So even if it's a zone, try to figure out ways to not have those large gaps in the zone for a guy like him to set in and make the play. And again, run the ball. Oh, run the ball. Oh, by the way, let's not forget, run the freaking ball. TJ, what are your keys for success? Sure.
I mean, you pretty much touched on all of them, you know.
I should have went last.
Nah, you know, they definitely have to establish, you know, a running game. That way they can control the clock better, get first downs, not put the ball in as much harm's way as obviously the passing game does. Jalen Hurts, please, this time do not fumble a snap. Okay. You would have had that game last time if that didn't happen. Like, come on. But at the end of the day, I think Hurts, he learned from his previous errors. He does not want to be a Dan Marino, basically, and he already proved that because he got back, and now he wants to finish it off this time. So I think defensively, you have to play very careful. You're going to have to know in big moments, odds are you're going to get at least 1, maybe even 2 or 3 phantom calls against you. Move on, stay level-headed, like Cool said. And offensively, no points is enough. All right, treat this game like an arena football game, man. You got to go for a hundo, okay? Going for a hundo. If you're up by 40, keep going, man.
Keep
Just
going
into the ground. But yeah, It's going to have to be some very strong mental fortitude, proper execution, and a lot of clock and ball control on the offense. Minimize the opportunity that Kansas City has to either make plays or be the beneficiary of calls that lead to big plays.
Sid,
Right.
what is the cat saying? Is the cat
You hear
saying
Chip?
hold
He's
on,
agreeing with
Mahomes, son?
TJ. You tell him just throw the just keep scoring, just keep scoring. Don't stop until the game's over, right? Until you know you got the game in hand. Don't think you have the game in hand. Don't give them a chance to get back in. Just keep it on their throat. And then, like you said, you got to lock up those zones, man. You got to watch Kelsey coming up the middle. Kelsey does so many improvised plays, man. You just have to have somebody not only be prepared for his improvised plays, but also have somebody keeping an eye on Pat Mahomes too, man. That defensive line, they can't be over aggressive on Pat Mahomes. You got to stay inside your lanes. You can't be over rushing him and giving him the outside terminal to run around. Just kind of, stay patient, stay home and watch him. I think it's going to come down to that. And then, on the offensive side, man, they can't let Chris Jones get in there and be disruptive. They can't let him affect Jalen Hurts. We can't have Jalen Hurts thinking he has to get the ball out quickly and then messing up and doing some weird, getting some fumble or overthrowing, AJ Brown. We just can't have that pressure coming up in the middle. So I want to see that offensive line hold it down and protect Jalen Hurts. And I want to see that defensive line stay home and make Patrick Mahomes honest, man. Because Patrick Mahomes beat you all too many times with those little 7-yard runs, those little 13-yard first downs, those extending the play for 3-4 seconds and giving, Travis Kelce chance to do some weird little juke and get on the inside and get, position on you. You got to make Pat Mahomes get the ball out of his hands fast. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Eagles bring pressure. They know they've been here before. It's not like they played the Chiefs 2 seasons ago and got blown out. They lost on a field goal. You've been here before, you know what's up, and this time your team's that much better. Not only is it more experienced, but you are literally that much better, hands down. Man, it would have been so good to see an Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl, just like the same plays on both sides going back to back. But yeah, like they are. If another team is gonna do it, the Eagles have the team to do it. They do have the better team, truly have the better team up and down. But for some reason, I feel like we're about to see a lot of Isaiah Pacheco today. Just like, that game. I think it was that Super Bowl, maybe the Super Bowl before. I don't know. Chiefs been in the Super Bowl every year for the past 5 years. It feels like. But I think we're going to see a healthy dose of Isaiah Pacheco today. We know we haven't all season, we haven't all playoffs, and that's going to be the wild card right there. No one's preparing for him, no one's prepping to see him, and he's going to come out and he's going to outshine Saquon Barkley. That's how I end it.
All right. So everyone is watching, everyone that has been watching, everyone that sees the replay, we appreciate you. It's been a great season. Like we've been on pretty much every week except for last week, discussing the games, talking about what's gonna happen. Enjoying when our own teams have had success. Not so happy when we haven't. I've had a lot of success this year. I've been a little spoiled this year. I acknowledge that, but hopefully we get one more piece of success, and I'm happy. We will definitely be back next season. And shout out to everyone who has been part of the show, everyone in the comments, everyone who's been sharing the show for us. Everybody's been liking the Shady Sports and the Sports Wave Networks YouTube pages. Everyone that's been interacting. So be ready for us to do it bigger and better next year. Said TJ, any last words? We're going to be signing off here for the season, but we'll be back next season. We might even do something around.
Thanks everyone for watching. I had a blast, and go Eagles.
This Philly guy. Yeah, thank you guys for rocking with us. It's been a good season in and out. Next season I'll be here on everyone. be more consistent. But I did love the show. It's been fun. You guys keep it rocking. We got some basketball going over on Fantasy Report, so hopefully we get cool on there, talking some basketball. Get TJ on
I
there,
owe y'all.
worshiping Philly or something.
I'm not a Philly
It will,
fan.
either way,
Basketball,
it's
so
good.
not
Thank you
me.
guys for rocking with us. But yeah, like he said, head over to Sports Wave and then Shady Sports, and don't forget to hit those like buttons and subscribe, guys. Stick with us. We got it. We'll be back next season, bigger and better.
Absolutely. So I've already said everything to say, but one thing: let's hunt. It's time for them Chiefs to take this L. But there's only one way to do it. Foot on throat, press down hard, keep scoring. We need to score every drive, whether it's 3 or 7. Every drive we need points. The referees love those boys, and they're going to give them a chance, unless you just blow them out. All right. Signing out for the last time for season 1, but
Super Bowl
Pregame
Sunday
Report will return. Season 2. Y'all be ready.